Should you back SAS Rogue Regiment? No, but not for the reasons that you might think. But before I tell you why, my name is Sam, this is Should You Back It, and I'm here to help you crowdfund with confidence. SAS Rogue Regiment is a cooperative World War II stealth action game for 1 to 4 players where over the course of 1 to 2 hours you'll take on the role of SAS soldiers in the pivotal weeks following D-Day. Along with your fellow players, you'll ambush convoys, assassinate high-ranking officers, destroy ammo dumps and more as you take on the Axis. The core pledge for this game will cost you £45, along with £10 shipping minimum if you live here in the UK, £20 if you live in the EU or US, and they estimate that this game will be shipping to backers in August 2023, so not a massive wait until you get your hands on this. But before we get into the gameplay and why I think you shouldn't back this game, let's do a risk assessment on the people making this game, Wordforge Games. Whenever we back something on Kickstarter or any crowdfunding platform for that matter, it's always important to do some research on the company behind the games. See how their past projects went, see how they handled everything, just to get a sense of what our experience could be as a backer. Wordforge Games are the company behind this title. This is their 10th Kickstarter campaign, and from what I can see, their recent campaigns have gone down relatively smoothly, with their last Kickstarter currently shipping as we speak. If you do your research on their back catalogue, you may notice that one of their titles, Astro Force, had shipping problems in the USA. This was due to the hospitalization of the owner of the logistics company they were using there, so absolutely nothing could be done, and it's entirely understandable. Equally, for a couple of their titles, there are quite a few comments with people stating they didn't receive their games and being quite miffed about it, which appears as a red flag. If you dig into these comments, you'll actually see the Wordforge Games team making a deliberate effort to respond and reach out to these people to fix the problems, which, as it turns out in most of these comments, was down to the person not completing their pledge manager. So you've got to commend the patience of the Wordforge Games teams there. The key takeaway for us as viewers, and what I would say to you, is please, please, for the love of all that's holy, please complete your pledge managers. You won't get your games without it. I believe we can give Wordforge Games a green rating with regards to this risk assessment. Their games consistently land at the 7 out of 10 rating on Board Game Geek. Their communication seems consistent and clear, and they've consistently shipped their games and delivered to backers. So let's talk about gameplay. If you've watched my videos, you'll know that I don't really get into the nitty-gritty details of the gameplay, but instead give a little bit of an overview. Instead, if you want to see an in-depth look at the gameplay, I'm actually going to link you to a video in the top right to where you can watch a full gameplay breakdown by the game's designer, Rob Butler. In essence though, each scenario will have a different tile layout. You'll lay down these tiles, lay out the enemies onto the map, and send your characters in order to complete the given objectives. What's interesting about the gameplay for me is that the enemies follow specific patrol routes which are defined and marked on the game tiles. You and your fellow players will attempt to move quickly and quietly through the map during the stealth phase in order to complete as many objectives as possible without alerting the guards. Enemy patrols follow the little predetermined paths you'll see in the tiles, and sentries will sit on a fixed location. The patrols and sentries can change direction based on event cards you'll draw every turn. Aside from that, the rest of the gameplay is what you might expect. You'll try and use silent items and weapons to take down guards that are in your way so that you don't have to alert anyone. You'll try and hide their bodies because obviously a bloodied carcass in the middle of the road might be a giveaway that something's up. And if the alarm does sound, then all hell will break loose. More enemies will spawn in the map. Some enemy vehicles may spawn too, depending on the difficulty, and you're going to have to try and complete the objectives and escape with this heightened threat. And here's the thing, all of this sounds great. The gameplay looks fun, it looks well thought out. I like how the stakes are raised when the alarm sounds. This seems like it will be a good game. And at this point, you're probably thinking, well, Sam, you're saying a lot of nice things here about this game, yet you said I shouldn't back it. And that will be right. I don't think you should back it because I think this game already exists out there in the form of V Commandos, and you can pick that game up right now for the same price as this Kickstarter. V Commandos was also a Kickstarter title. It's also a cooperative World War II game for 1 to 4 players, where this time, instead of it being all SAS characters, you'll assemble a team of famous Allied corps like the US Raider, SAS, Devil's Brigade, SOE and others. I won't bore you with more details. You can check the game out online and on Board Game Geek, where it is highly rated and one that I would equally highly recommend. I want to be clear though, I'm not saying that SAS Rogue Regiment is some kind of copy. There are differentiating elements between these two games. But what I am saying is that I don't think that there are enough differentiating elements in order to set Rogue Regiment apart enough. See, here's the thing. I think Rogue Regiment will be a good game, especially if you're looking for a light co-op game that thematically really suits the setting, where you can more or less recreate that wild geese vibe with your friends. I think if you want to support a smaller company that's based here in the UK, you should absolutely back this. This is a brilliant reason to back this game. But if I had someone show me Rogue Regiment and V Commandos and said, this one, you can pay £45 plus shipping for it and get it at the end of next year. This one, it'll cost more or less the same. There's the same replayability, and you can get it right now, you can likely assume which one I'd be more likely to choose. But this is my recommendation. Hopefully you feel a little bit more informed. If you found it helpful, I'd love it if you could check out this video next. YouTube thinks you'll like it, and by watching it, you'll be supporting me and my channel.